We got to that final score as the Gamecocks lose to Georgia 41-17. Gamecocks with the ball first on 3rd and 2. Georgia's Baker called for pass interference to put the ball near midfield. But 2 plays later, the Gamecocks make the first mistake of the day.
5 wide receivers again. Georgia with a 3-man front. Those linebackers spread out. Bentley on 2nd and 10. Looks towards the sidelines. It goes to the line of scrimmage. Tipped up and picked off. Georgia down the far sideline at the 30, 20, 10. DeAndre Baker has got the pick off. It went through Rico Daddle's hand up in the air off his shoulder pads. And Georgia gets the first strike at Williams-Brice on a deflected pass from Bentley. Oh, my.
By the way, Baker dropped the ball before he crossed the line, but it was not called, and Georgia up 7-0. Georgia's first possession, true possession, is a drive. Brunson with a 15-yard late hit penalty to the Gamecock 17, and on the next play, Georgia scores again.
The Bulldogs got it at the Gamecock 17-yard line. Fromm's got Swift in the backfield. Pistol formation, 3 wide receivers. It's Swift, left side, stretch play. Trying to get to the edge at the 10. Being into the end zone. Touchdown, Georgia.
17-yard touchdown run after 4 plays, 71-yard drive, just a minute 15 off the clock. Georgia up 14-0 with 11:50 to go first quarter. South Carolina's next possession, aided by another pass interference penalty against Baker, who was guarding Debo Samuel today. Bentley to Ortre Smith twice for first down at midfield and another one at the Georgia 38. Bentley to Edwards for 18 yards to the 15. And 2 plays later, some trick play from Gamecocks.
They're on the left hash mark. Just 1 wide receiver here on the right. It's Brian Edwards and plenty of room. Wide receiver sweep. Now they want to throw it. They got Edwards in the end zone. Touchdown, Carolina. Touchdown, Brian Edwards. That's Debo Samuel on the throw to his partner, 89 Edwards from 14 yards out. Just like that, Carolina's back in the ball game with 7:18 to go in the first quarter.
11 plays, 75 yards, 4:32 off the clock. Georgia up 14-7 with 7:18 to go in the first quarter. Georgia's next possession starts with a delay of game because it was so loud and rocking here at Williams-Brice early on, at least. A personal foul for a low block after that. And on 3rd down, the Gamecocks defense comes up with a big play.
3 wide receivers set. Brown back in the pocket, bouncing, got time. Now hit just as he throws it. And it's picked off. Rashad Fenton at the 50. A great move at the 40. And then knock him down at the the Georgia 34-yard line. Oh, great pressure that time by Kinlaw and Keir Thomas and Rashad Fenton with his first pick of the year.
So a huge break for the Gamecocks. They start at Georgia's 34, but they stay there. Facing 4th and 10, the Gamecocks go for it. And as Tommy mentioned, this was a missed opportunity. No good. Gamecocks failed to take advantage. Pass interference against the Gamecocks starts the Georgia drive. Holyfield with a 15-yard first down run to the Gamecock 33. The Gamecocks defense holds, and Georgia's Blankenship comes in, hits the 45-yard field goal. A 6-play, 38-yard drive. Georgia now up 17-7 at the end of the first quarter. Gamecocks with a drive in the second. Bentley to Pollard and Bentley to Dowdle, both for first downs. Williams a 9-yard run and then a 5-yard first down run to Georgia's 44. Gamecocks seem to be getting it in gear. Bentley to Casey Crosby for 18 yards to the 26. Williams with a tough fought 7-yard gain to the 20. 6-yard screen pass to Williams gives the Gamecocks a first down at the Georgia 13. Bentley hits Shi Smith for 7, but then the drive stalls, and in comes Parker White. He hits the 26-yard field goal, so got it down to 7 points after the 14-play, 71-yard drive. 5:39 off the clock. Georgia up 17-10 with 5:57 to go first half. Gamecocks force a punt on Georgia's next possession. Then the Gamecocks take over on their own 8, drive it to right at midfield before they have to punt it away. But the punt is just 18 yards. That gives Georgia the opportunity to get in field goal range, and they take advantage of it. Blankenship hits the 44-yard field goal at the end of the half. Georgia goes to halftime up on the Gamecocks 20-10. Georgia gets the ball first, and they drive it with ease. 6 plays, 75 yards, and just 2:05, and a long touchdown caps it.
Braun back to work, same play, the other side. Montax trying to track down Hardiman. He can't do so. Hardiman down the far sideline.
No safety help again.
Touchdown, Georgia. 4 safety play, back-to-back plays for Carolina, and Hardiman just went 34 yards on a simple wide receiver screen. Look at that running effort.
And, of course, we were worried about safety depth, and it came back to bite us right there. Georgia 27, South Carolina 10 with 12:55 to go third quarter. Next, Georgia possession's a drive. A 3rd and 5 penalty against the Gamecocks keeps the drive alive past midfield. Fromm hits Harden on a busted coverage, 42 yards to the 5. Next play, 5-yard touchdown run. And 6-play, 75-yard drive in the books for Georgia again. 34-10 they lead with 9:12 to go third quarter. Gamecocks with 3 straight run plays after that. 3 and out, punted away. Georgia just keeps running and running and running. 9 plays, 86 yards, 4.5 minutes on the drive. 8 of those 9 plays runs. Heron with a 15-yard touchdown run. Georgia up 41-10 with 3 minutes to go third quarter. The fourth quarter begins with the Gamecocks deep into a drive. Jake Bentley a 10-yard run to the Georgia 6. On 3rd and 3, Bentley gets nothing on the keeper. Obviously, the Gamecocks go for it on 4th and goal. Georgia's J.R. Reed intercepts Jake Bentley in the end zone to end that threat. Next Gamecock possession. Finally, the Gamecocks get in the second half end zone.
On 2nd and 7 with 10 minutes to go, Bentley back to work. Full wide receiver set, wants to throw it. Guns one down the near sideline. Edwards caught at the 5 and into the end zone. Touchdown, Carolina.
Nice
touchdown,
throw.
Brian Edwards. I mean, perfect, because the Georgia defender was literally grabbing on into the last second, and Edwards got the hands free, and from 44 yards out, he makes it 41-16 with the extra point upcoming.
So, yeah, it was on the backups of Georgia, but still, as we use our indoor voices for that, a 44-yard touchdown, 4-play, 59 yards, minute 28 off the clock. Georgia up 41-17, 9:59 to go, fourth quarter, and Georgia responds as you would expect, running it, staying classy. They take a knee, and that's your final score. Georgia goes to 2-0 in the year, and certainly maintaining that number 3 ranking at the very least as they beat the Gamecocks 41-17. Crescent Construction is a local award-winning roofer and the official roofer of the Gamecocks. Consultations are always free. Call Crescent Construction before you call your insurance company. It might save you money. We'll come back and continue to look at the scoreboard and look at the stat sheet. It's the Carolina Ford Dealers Locker Room Report on the Gamecock IMG Sports Network.
When you go all out, you want an SUV that's all in. That's why Ford engineered a powerful, innovative SUV lineup. Because when it comes to choosing your next SUV, loyalty isn't given, it's earned. That's why Ford is America's best-selling brand. For great offers on a powerful Ford Explorer, adventurous Escape, or the all-new Ford EcoSport, visit buyfordnow.com or see your Carolina Ford dealer today. Best-selling brand claim based on 2017 calendar year sales.
Come on in, make yourself
If Carolina's playing, I'm hosting a backyard tailgate party. But this year, I had a little problem. A big little problem. Ants had taken over the yard. I tried treating the mounds myself.
I'm getting rid of you.
But nothing worked. So I called Terminex. Turns out my Terminex guy is a Carolina fan too. He identified the ants and took care of the yard just in time for the first game. Tailgate saved.
Terminex protects what you love, like tailgate parties. Call 1-800-TERMINEX to schedule your service.
The game may be over, but our show rolls on. Post-game coverage of Gamecock football continues right after this word from your local station.
You're listening to South Carolina football on the Gamecock IMG Sports Network. Be sure to stay connected with Gamecock Athletics no matter where you are all season long. Hear every
Coach, make an opening statement and we'll open up for questions.
Well, it's, got whipped on the line of scrimmage. At the end of the day, we talked about that going in the game, how that was going to be a key part of the game to be able to stay balanced offensively, run the football. If we were, at times we were effective running the ball in some scoring drives, and then stopping the run defense. Give up 21 points the first three series of the second half, and don't stop the run. And so, again, we got to continue to move forward and get better. We got a lot of ball to play. It's a lot of season to go, but that's certainly a point going in the game I knew was going to be critical that we needed to be able to do that, and we were unable to do that. So that was very disappointing. We had 46 snaps in the first half offensively. I felt good, but we go out in the second half and we're 3 and out in the first 3 series. We have a drop pass, we miss an inside RPO, which probably would have been a first down, but we can't get off the field defensively in the first 3 possessions of the second half. It's a 17-10 game. We got to be able to flip the field on the punt. That was a critical error before half, giving up the field goal to make it a 10-point game, to give them the momentum going in the second half. That was a critical error on our part. We've got to be able to flip the field and not shank the punt. But disappointed with obviously how we played. Give Georgia credit. They've got a good football team. I appreciate our fan base and how they showed up here today. And we needed to play better, and that's on me. And a lot of ball to play, and we'll look to improve, and I'll open up for any questions.
Raise your hand, we'll get a microphone to you.
Will, the drops in the first half, and really the first one that got returned, just how atypical is that for this receiving core?
It has been. It's frustrating, David, to be honest with you. So, but you get a tip ball for a touchdown for 56 yards, and you're talking about just taking the momentum a little bit. But hey, we fought. I mean, we got back to a 17-10 ball game. All right, give our kids credit. They fought their butts off, got themselves back in that position. Disappointed before the half to make it a 10-point game, and then come out second half. I mean, we just got whipped. I mean, we got moved off the line of scrimmage. We didn't tackle as well. We didn't get lined up a couple times. I mean, we just, that's just something that's very frustrating and correctable, and we'll get it corrected. And that's on me.
Will, did you have a chance to talk to your coordinators and get them to explain their view of the worst part of this, and what might have they said besides you got whipped on the line of scrimmage?
Well, we haven't talked about that. We'll watch the film and go from there. I can tell you right now, we need to stay more balanced and be able to run the ball a little bit. And we felt good about 46 snaps in the first half. That's part of what we want. But we got to make first downs as you continue to move forward in the game. And we got whipped up front on defense and didn't tackle very well. I mean, at the end of the day, it was what it comes down to, leveraging the ball and tackling, and we didn't do it very well. We'll continue to work and improve on it.
Specifically on Hardman's big plays, from what you saw from the sideline, anything much you could have done differently there other than?
Well, we busted a coverage. Obviously, we're in man coverage, and we got a mix-up on the long one. That was a bust. We were in man coverage, and we had a mistake made to put them down at the 5-yard line, I believe. And then on the other, we got cut on the perimeter in the first half. We should have been outside in on the leverage, and then we turn it back to our safety and linebacker running inside out. We get cut to the outside leg, and Hardman's on the edge. He's fast, and we do that going into the game. And then same situation, our outside linebacker doesn't walk out in apex. So when we do turn the ball back, there's nobody to turn it back to. So, the tempo got us a little bit, didn't get lined up and get where he's supposed to get.
Go ahead, Tim.
I guess just with their level of talent, speed, kind of all that, how much margin does that kind of limit you with in terms of tackling where,
right.
If you miss a tackler a little bit, not squared up, it'll go a lot farther.
They do a good job of creating space plays. I've said it all week. You gotta leverage the ball. You gotta tackle in space and get the ball on the ground. And other than the first drive, when they hit the ball on their sideline, I don't know that we got hurt on the perimeter. In the second half, we did. We got hurt for a touchdown. We got hurt for a big play down the sideline on a busted coverage. In several situations, we got hurt on the perimeter.
Is that just wearing down a little bit? Or?
It's not leveraging the ball. It's not tackling.
Is there any update on DJ Wanham, and how much did not having him, I guess, hurt you in terms of edge speed and things like that?
No, man down, man up. We don't make excuses around here. DJ's is working through. He's got a ligament issue on the inside of his ankle, and we're working on having the swelling go more down so we can get an accurate picture of exactly what's going on. So I'll know more probably tomorrow.
One of the bright spots for y'all today was Brian Edwards' performance with 2 touchdowns. What did you think of his day today?
We've got to continue to get him the ball more and create some one-on-ones for him more. He's a good football player and a competitive young man, and we got to continue to find ways to get him the ball. Yeah.
What do you think the guys were maybe the players were a little too amped up coming into this one?
We were fine. We were a focused, loose football team. Catch the football, don't have it bounce off your helmet. You know, I mean, we're fine. We need to.
Back to the room, Mike.
Coach, you talk about the balance. I mean, going into this game, how much did you guys want to throw the football? We know in the past you guys are a passing team, but last week you guys obviously dominated on the ground.
Well, we wanted to be able to get their rushers tired, you know, and that's why we came out the way we did earlier, played with some tempo. We spread them out a little bit, and it was effective in moving the ball for us, and then be able to go back to some of our normal sets that we repped to get, you know, we felt like we'd give them some issues with. So, again, we wanted to, you know, when you say 46 snaps and you go into half, considering that we had played poorly in the first half, you feel pretty good about where you are. We got to get some first down, but you got to get some stops on defense. It's a team game.
Coach, you tried to get the ball to your playmakers on the outside. It looked like Georgia's speed kind of negated that a little bit. Was that at all surprising how they were able to close down and tackle?
No, we've said all week they got really good team speed. There's no question. They play well in space.
Obviously, you haven't had a chance to review much, but how do you kind of come away looking at Jake's day? What do you see as sort of positives, negatives from him?
Well, I thought, again, we had some drops which were unfortunate, but we'll go back and watch the film and make more of an accurate explanation of how he played in the game.
You guys came out at the beginning, you're going no back, you're trying to throw. Was there something you saw there specifically that you guys were trying to target with that drive?
Well, we wanted to play with a better tempo, and then felt like we wanted to try and get their rushers tired. I mean, at the end of the day, we wanted to be able to try and maintain possession of the ball, move the football, put the ball in space to our playmakers, and get their rushers tired. And you play 46 snaps in the first half, you're excited about that. You feel good about it. But then you go in the second half and you're able to make some first downs, and you're able to get some stops defensively. It's a different ball game. We allowed them to play the game they wanted to play, and that's run the football. And when you allow them to play that way, it becomes very difficult.
Will, what do you think are the biggest differences right now about where you guys are and where Georgia is as programs right now?
Well, I think they're very good on the line of scrimmage. I mean, they're massive in their offensive line. So I think that would be we've got to be able to play better up front, play blocks better up front, disengage better up front, make better tackle in space. We got the ball in the perimeter too many times a day. So overall, we need to continue to improve, and we will.
I guess mentally, how do you get your guys to kind of, almost flush a performance like this and sort of move on, look forward?
Well, we'll have a great opportunity tomorrow, and we're looking forward to it.
Coach, after going up, getting a litmus test against a team like this, what do you think this new offense can learn and preach forward? And with so much time still left in the season, so many of the goals still on the table, what's the approach you take in sending that message to the players that while this one didn't go our way, we have plenty ahead of us?
Well, we got a lot of football ahead of us. I think the big thing you need to do is be technical, starting with me and all the way down, and what we need to do to improve. And I told the team that in the locker room. There's a lot of football to be played, and understand we're 1-1 right now. We got an opportunity next week to be 1-0. So that's our approach is going to be. Every week's the season, and we'll put it all into Marshall next week.
Anything else for Coach?
Thank you.
First up today is Jake Bentley and Brian Edwards.
Jake, the drops in the first half, just how frustrating is that for you, especially when some of those seem to be right on the money?
I got to put the ball in a better spot for them to make it easier catch. I mean, Rico, I threw it. I mean, granted, it was in his head, but, I know he likes him in his chest. So I got to do a better job with that. And then other things may have been a little too tight. I mean, granted, it may have got there or whatever, but go look at it, and maybe there was other places to go that maybe weren't so contested.
Jake, what would you say, and Brian also, were the biggest problems on offense today?
I mean, we got to be able to run the ball better, and however we have to do that, we got to get that done, and then just got to execute better. I think everyone on offense will tell you that. Just everyone all around just has to do a better job of making plays, and I mean, for me, I just got to make more of the right decisions, and just continue just to get better.
Yeah, I mean, adding on to that, just executing, obviously coming out and, starting better. We had the interception return for a touchdown. It's not a good way to start, but just executing and limiting mistakes.
Going off of that, I mean, obviously your offense is very important. I mean, the running game is very important with your offense, with the RPOs and the play action. How difficult does it make it as the game goes on if you can't establish that run early on?
I mean, it's difficult, but we got to find a way to win, no matter what it is. So we're not going to point fingers at anyone. We're just going to everyone's going to look at themselves and ask what they could have done better. Starting with me. I mean, if we got to throw it 80 times a game, we'll throw it. I mean, that's not an excuse to not win. Obviously, it makes it tougher, but just got to find a way to win.
Coach Muschamp says that he told the team in the locker room that, hey, there's still plenty of football left to be played. We have to put this one behind us. You two as leaders, how are you going to help to reinforce that message, especially with the young guys?
I mean, we got it on our wristbands. Each week is a new season. We're going to come in Sunday, we're going to make the corrections, and then we're moving on to Marshall. And that's that's a motto around our team: win, lose, or draw.
This question's for Brian. Although a lot of things didn't go your way today, how does it help to boost your confidence with 2 touchdown catches today?
I mean, we lost. I mean, no more victories than a loss like that, honestly.
Did you guys at all feel maybe that you might have gotten a little overhyped with kind of the moment, big opponent coming in? It seemed like you guys maybe were trying to go a little too fast almost in the early going.
No, not really. I mean, to be honest, I thought we were ready to go, and just unfortunate way to start the game off like that.
For both of you guys, do you think maybe the team came out a little too hyped? Maybe it was just a little too excited to kind of go through the fundamentals?
I mean, honestly, I mean, we took the same approach that we took each game. I mean, just things didn't go our way. We didn't execute like we needed to. I don't think it had anything to do with focus or being hyped or anything like that.
You guys came out, I think, in 4 or 5 straight plays with an empty set. Was that something you guys saw on film or something you wanted to catch Georgia off guard with, or especially wanting to establish the run? What was the thought coming out in the empty set?
Yeah, I mean, just try to show them something new, go fast, and just kind of get a feel of how they lined up. We felt like in an empty set, we had some advantages there based on how they lined up. So we just felt good trying to go fast and keep them in that, keep us staying in empty and keeping them in that same formation.
Jake, I know you went to go shake hands with the fans and the crowd in the student section, but you lingered a little bit there on the field. I know every loss must hurt, but when you're walking off the field there at the end, is there anything particular running through your mind? Does this one hurt a little bit more than the others?
No, I mean, every loss sucks pretty much. I mean, I think everyone on the team hates losing more than they like winning, and I think that's the mentality that we have. I just wanted to tell the fans thank you for staying there. I mean, win, lose, or draw, they're there. So, I mean, yeah, just kind of just thinking about what I could have done better to maybe give us a better chance to win.
Jake, what was the thinking about the halftime adjustments that you guys made, and what sort of adjustments did Georgia make that frustrated you guys there in the third quarter?
I mean, at halftime, we knew we had to try to continue to establish the run game, and it just we couldn't really get it going. I mean, they kind of stayed in the same thing. I mean, they're a great defense. I mean, all credit to them. I mean, Coach Smart does a great job, and they have a lot of great players on that side of the ball. But at the end of the day, we just knew we had to execute better, and that was kind of the message at halftime, just go out there and try to execute better. Unfortunately, we didn't do that today, but that's why we're going to get better tomorrow, and then it's on to week 3. It's on to Marshall now.
you kind of mentioned thinking about some of the areas where you kind of needed to improve or felt you weren't quite up to par. What are some of those areas that you kind of come out of this game saying, I needed to do those better?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's everything really. I mean, when you look at a game like this and just outplayed, we just got to, at the end of the day, find the way to win the game. I got to maybe be more accurate or just do whatever it takes to put us in a place to win. I mean, taking care of the ball down there on the goal line, kind of the biggest thing that stands out. But yeah, just overall, just everything in general.
Anything else for these guys? We got Zach Taylor and TJ Munson.
Zach, just how difficult was it to try to get a consistent running crease against that defensive front?
I mean, they're a good front. We just didn't have things go our way. We just got to keep pushing them up front. I mean, I think at times we should have kept running it, but at times, obviously our throwing game seemed to be working as well at times. So, I mean, that's for coaches to their decision, not really mine. But overall, I think we just need to get more push up front. It's from the offensive line, and it starts with us.
We'll wait till I have a chance.
TJ, how would you describe the breakdowns in the second half on defense at the start of the third quarter?
I think guys we just didn't align fast enough. We weren't urgent. I mean, that's all it boiled down to, urgency, being vocal, getting the calls to everyone.
Questions? Let's go to Josh in the middle.
TJ, how much of that urgency had to do with the grind of the size of their offensive line? Do you feel like that took a toll physically as the game wore on?
I do not. I feel like everything that happened on our side of the ball was it had a lot to do with us. Just understanding, like, it was a dogfight. I mean, those guys, they were good, but we're just as good. Getting those guys to understand,
Getting which guy? Getting Georgia?
Getting on our side of the ball, just getting those guys to understand, it's a 4-quarter game.
TJ, when you're in that mode and that moment, and it seems like everything's crashing, they're scoring those 3 straight drives. What's that mood like? What is it feeling when you're looking around and you're looking for answers and maybe they're just not there?
You just try to keep everyone up and make sure everyone understands. Like I said before, it's a 4-quarter game, and just go out the next drive with the mentality to dominate and to win. And obviously, we didn't do that today, so we have to be on the same accord all across the boards.
TJ, to follow up on that, you felt like some of your teammates felt beaten in the second half, maybe, or just didn't feel like you could get the job done?
I think so. I think during the second half, a lot of guys just didn't understand the grind of the game. It's hard to win, especially playing up against those guys. Like, it's always going to be a dogfight, but it's the second game of the season. We got a long way to go.
Is there a lesson that you can pull out of that for them, you think? And did you try to teach it in the second half on the sideline, maybe? I mean, were you saying anything? Or?
I don't mean to sound like a broken record, but I just want those guys to understand, it's a long game. It's always a long game. We battled. We fought the first half. We made it to where it was manageable. And then you got to keep that same energy throughout the whole game.
Zach, you talked a little bit about the run game. Just how hard is it to establish the running game against a defensive front like that, and what does it take away from an offense when you aren't able to, I guess, consistently run the ball effectively?
You just got to be more downhill. I think we did a lot of outside stuff, but I think we need to run a little bit more inside and just move people off the ball. That's the biggest thing. We offensive line, we take full responsibility for the run game. It's our job. So when you look at the stats, it's disappointing. You're going out there and practicing every single day, giving it our all, and we're not seeing the results. So we'll watch the film tomorrow and try and make some corrections, figure out what we did wrong, and get back after it and go through another week of practice and get ready for Marshall.
Either one of you guys, how do you guys flush it and get into practice and not let this linger too much as you try to get into the next week?
You watch the film and you learn from it. You learn to see what you did wrong, mistakes you made, what you can do to get better, and take those into practice and focus on them and be dominant at your own position.
I guess this is kind of for both of you, but how much of a challenge is it when they kind of go up 14-0 so fast like that? Does that kind of take out the energy a little bit? What is that sort of like to suddenly turn to battling back from something like that so quickly?
I mean, we've been down before. Look at last year. We were down before and we came back and won. Doesn't matter if we're down or up. We were the whole entire game. We were trying to battle to get back up. It didn't matter if we were losing or not. Our mindset was to get on the field and go score a touchdown. We got to get the defense off the field. We can't go 4 and out, three drives in a row. I mean, that's not fair to them. Not an excuse to them, but something as an offensive line we as an offense we need to stay on the field and drive the ball down the field and score, regardless.
Back there, Mike.
TJ, just obviously the tackling wasn't there today, but is there kind of like signs of promising knowing that you can fix these kind of things? It's not like it was mental breakdowns or anything like that.
We're going to do so many tackling drills this week. I can guarantee you that. But those are things that can be fixed through practice, and it just comes down to your technique and just belief and confidence when you're going in for a tackle. So those things will be fixed. It just come out to practice next week, learn from what happened today, watch the film, and move on.
Did you feel assignment-wise you guys were pretty good though?
Yeah, I think across the board we were okay. We still need to work on being more vocal as a unit and relaying the calls and making sure everyone is on the same page throughout the whole game.
Last one for these guys.
DJ, you're talking about tackling. Is that going back to the focus you were talking about, guys losing focus in the second half, or is it just execution throughout the game? Or?
Just execution. It doesn't change from the first play to the last play. It comes down to just focusing on executing.
Thanks, guys. Last two players today, Stephen Montag, first one in. First one.
Rico, what happened on that first drop pass that went for pick 6?
Just a lack of focus. A play that got to be made. So me.
Did it hit you in the helmet?
Yeah, I think so.
Rico, how hard is it to establish a running game against that Georgia front seven, and what does it do when you're not able to, for an offense, when you're not able to effectively run the ball like you want to?
I don't think it's necessarily hard. We had 13 runs called. I think that our guys can do it. They're a good defensive line, but I think we can do it, and just got to get more runs and be more productive on the carries that we do get.
Steven, did you see a theme or like a common thread in some of the tackling issues overall today?
Yeah, we just gotta tackle better. That's it. Make plays.
Were either of you guys surprised at their team speed today?
No.
Steven, in terms of like sort of their talent, are they kind of a team that makes you almost have to be perfect in terms of tackling? Because kind of every little misstep they can sort of punish in a bigger way than maybe some other teams?
I mean, they're a good team and they got good players, so missed tackle definitely gonna hurt. I mean, that could be fixed by just running to the ball, but it's gonna be fixed this week.
Stephen, how hard was it after shutting Georgia out in the second quarter to give up that field goal in the final play and it going from a one-possession game to a two-possession game and then knowing you got to go back on defense to start the second half?
I mean, it was tough, but I mean, we could have just stopped them from getting the field goal. So it was on us to just stop them from getting the field goal. So we just got to shut them down in the second half.
Stephen, TJ was frustrated with the focus, the defensive focus in the second half. Did you see some of those issues as well? And how do you guys as veterans fix it?
I mean, it starts with me because I need to focus better with tackling, getting everybody in line. I mean, I don't know. I honestly don't know.
Steven, is there a place your head goes to after a game like this, a loss like this, where you're thinking, what if this play, that play, especially that third quarter, and as that all comes together, what's the mood at this point? Does this loss sting a little bit more than just a normal loss?
I mean, it hurt. It hurt me real bad because I don't play them again. You know, it's a wrap. And just the way we lost, and I know I could have played way better. So, I mean, it hurt real bad. Tough loss. Can't let it just define our season, though.
Yeah, Stephen, going off from that, I mean, what do you do knowing that you guys have so much more season to go, especially with the younger guys, so that they don't, give up at this point?
I mean, just got to practice hard from the rest of the year, play every game hard. I mean, this is only the second game of the season, not like just the last game, not the SEC championship either. So, I mean, it's the second game. We still got 10 more.
Steven, how much do you guys miss DJ, not having him out there?
I mean, of course we missed him. He's a real good player. I mean, what happened today was on us, lack of execution. I mean, I don't know. We just got to focus way better, just play better. That's it.
Rico, Zach kind of said that he felt like you guys maybe didn't go downhill kind of as much as you guys had kind of hoped, or maybe as much as he had kind of wanted. What do you see kind of factoring in there? Is that the defense? Is that play call? What kind of goes into that?
Just execution. Get the play call, you got to execute the play, no matter if it's a run or pass. A run game would help. You can't be a one-dimensional offense. And I think that had a lot to do with it, with the plays, how we matched up. We got behind early, and we had to play from behind, so wasn't many runs getting caught. And just got to do a better job.
This is for both of you. When you look at today's results, would you say that the gap between you and Georgia is wide, or is it just you just didn't have your best day?
We just didn't have our best day.
Yeah, I think we didn't play to our best of ability. What we put out there today, that's not us. It doesn't define us as a team, and I don't think that the scoreboard really determines. I don't think there's a huge separation at all. We got 10 games left to prove it.
Yeah, we just got to execute better. I mean, they ain't one no better than us. They just executed better than us and made the plays that came to them.
Anything else for these guys? All right, that's a wrap.